him.
I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Smack-a-ma-gob, it's time for the only news that matters. And very little has been heard from Jakey Lee as of late. In fact, according to the Setlist FM site, his last live performance happened over 5 years ago this past April as a member of the Red Dragon Cartel. This has led many fans to wonder, has the guitarist who shredded on such classic Ozzy albums as Bark at the Moon and Ultimate Sin retired for good? Well, during an interview with Border City Rock Talk, a former bandmate of Lee's Badlands band, the bassist Greg Chason, filled us in why Lee has shunned the spotlight as of late, and also if it's health related. Craig said he's got carpal tunnel syndrome in his right wrist, which is his picking wrist, and it affects the way that he plays. And if you're familiar with Jake's style, there's a lot of staccato, very aggressive sort of picking. It hurts. I've had carpal tunnel surgery myself way back in the 70s, and it made his hand go numb, which is the same thing that happened with mine. So he's been just waiting for his insurance to kick in so he can have the surgery, which then led to the bassist discussing if he knows what will be Lee's next move after he gets his surgery, and also if it involves rekindling his music career. He said, "I'm not sure what is next on his plate. I'm not sure if it was a Red Dragon Cartel thing or something completely different, or maybe one or two other things. I just know that the most recent history here, he hasn't done much because playing is not really fun for him at the moment. But I know he plans to do something, but I couldn't tell you exactly what it is. If he did Red Dragon Cartel again, I'm sure that he would call Anthony Esposito, and because they're good friends. And as far as I know, there's no issues there. If he was going to do something completely different and he wanted to call me up, we text frequently. He knows that I would be up for doing whatever it is that the next project he would do. Maybe he'll do Red Dragon or something completely different. I don't know. We've never discussed that particular thing because I think he just wanted to get the surgery. Jason sounded quite sure, though, that Lee is not finished with music. And if he called upon the bassist to work together once again, he's in. He says, I know there's been some rumors about him. Jake's done. He's never going to play again. That's bull. Jake's a musician. Whether he's going to go on a year-long world tour or not. Probably not, but who wants to do that? I know I don't. But whether he's going to play again and record again, I would say there's 100% chance that that'll happen at some point. And if he calls me, I would definitely be up for it. So there you go. Yeah, Jake's gone into hiding again, and this time it's, health related, carpal tunnel, and I do hope he gets the surgery because, goddamn, I love Jakey Lee, man. His work on, I'm not a big fan of Ultimate Sin, but what he does on that album, like the song Never, he rips, man. He rips, and I love Bark at the Moon. And I love Badlands, both albums, man. I don't think Voodoo Highway gets enough, respect like the first album, even though the first album is grossly underrated as well. But Voodoo Highway, man, I think it may be a little tiny bit better. That's what I feel. But Jake is an awesome dude, I love Jakey Lee interviews. He's so open and to the point, and He doesn't mince word. He tells it as it is and how he feels and how, you know, he got ripped off by Sharon when he did Bark at the Moon. You know, they promised him all this shit, and then after he was recording, you know, he asked what they promised him, and then they ended up saying, you know what, tough shit. You know, we'll kick you out of the band and we'll get somebody else to come in and play your parts. And, you know, and that whole Bark at the Moon album, all music and lyrics written by Ozzy Osbourne. Come on. Even Jake said that Bark at the Moon was part of a song that he had in Rough Cut that wasn't recorded or anything, but it was a work in progress. And man, what a solo on Bark at the Moon. My God, the way he rips. That shit he does at the end where his fingers are so fucking spread apart and he's just ripping, man. Oh, you know, I've seen Jake many times, man. I saw him like 3 times on the first Badlands album tour. They came down here 3 times, 2 times headline and 1 time with was Great White. I believe it was Great White, Tesla, and Badlands opened that show. And Badlands was phenomenal, man. Fucking Ray Gillen. What a voice on that man. And the one time I met Jakey Lee, the guy couldn't have been cooler. He was funny as hell. And I had him do an ID for my podcast, and he kept messing it up and laughing and joking around with it. He was just pure damn class, man. And that show was pretty much a train wreck, even though Jake played really well. It was, he hired, I think this was like the 3rd or 4th singer he hired during that first Red Cartel tour. And this guy, they opened the show with, I think they opened it with Ultimate Sin maybe. And he sang the lyrics to Now You See It, Now You Don't, which was crazy, man. But somehow or another it kind of fit. It was crazy. And yeah, I remember it made Blabbermouth. Somebody filmed it and, you know, Blabbermouth made it a headline. This dude like sang the different lyrics to this song. And Jake was going through a lot of shit with singers, man. You know, there was one, the singer on the album, he fucked up. I believe it was at the Whiskey A Go-Go. And yeah, and then he got another singer, that didn't work out. And then I think he got another one, and then the one I saw. But hey, I was happy I went. I saw him play, you know, Rumble and Train that night, and just a bunch of great songs. High Wire, Now You See It, Now You Don't, with different lyrics. No, I think that they played it later on in the set where he got the lyrics right that time. It was a fun show, even though, yeah, it was off the rails and stuff. But I loved it, man. And I love Jakey Lee's playing. I mean, that night when I saw him the last time, he was as good as the first time I saw him on the Speak of the Devil tour. Yes, I saw the Speak of the Devil tour, and it was not Brad Gillis. It was Jakey Lee. And he was awesome that night. And I think the best time I saw him with Ozzy was Bark at the Moon, where even Ozzy was great that night. And I was front row, right in front of Jakey Lee and Mick Mars, Motley Open. Phenomenal player, phenomenal guy, super nice. Check out his interviews, man. The guy, he's just so damn interesting. And he said in these interviews that he wants credit for Bark at the Moon, but he doesn't want money. Just credit him. But they ain't going to do that. And when it came time to do Ultimate Sin, he was like, either you give me credit or I will leave now. Because he already made a name for himself. But they wanted to keep him, so they did give him credit on the Ultimate Sin. Jakey Lee, to me, he's the real deal, man. He is a cool musician, amazing guitar player. He's up there, man. In the 80s, like Jakey Lee, DeMartini, and George Lynch. Those 3 80s guitar players from the LA scene were my favorites. Those 3, man, they were incredible. And I love Jake, man. What do you all think of Jakey Lee? And leave it in the comments below. And I really do hope he gets that surgery and he's back out on the road ripping again, because I love Jakey Lee. And I love you all for watching the only news that matters. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Ring that little notification bell. And like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty. Listen to Black Sabbath and smack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.